Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, February 22nd, 2018. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. A strong call has been made for public servants in this country not to be intimidated when fighting for their rights. In a statement released to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the Public Service Union on Wednesday, February 21st, President Elroy Boucher praised previous leaders for their guidance and sacrifice. He said the anniversary theme, 75 years of resilience, moving forward towards a stronger public service union, is quite appropriate, noting that even with mounting challenges, it is important that all members remain steadfast.
Element of fear that exists throughout the public service, and finally, the lack of growth in the economy that has resulted in increased taxation on workers. To navigate these and many more challenges, we have to maintain our resilience and continue moving towards a stronger public service union. We must remember that building resilience is an important part of growth and change, so we must be prepared to undergo positive change while maintaining our values and principles. Thus, this 75th year of celebration should usher in a call for all workers to stand with the Public Service Union. If ever a time that we as workers need to stand together, it is now.
The PSU president also called on members to remain united to ensure that they receive gains to improve their standard of living.
We as Vincentians have a responsibility to ourselves and to our country to guarantee we are receiving our rightful benefits, which are protected by our country's constitution. The past 75 years have proven that we are a people who are always progressing, and our desire for a better standard of living is always our ultimate goal. It is only through strength and unity we can acquire what is truly ours as public servants of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In the words of Lane Kirkland, I quote, "We have come too far, struggled too long, sacrificed too much, and have too much left to do, to allow that which we have achieved for the good of all to be swept away without a fight, and we have not forgotten how to fight."
St. Vincent and the Grenadines has moved down on the Corruption Perceptions Index 2017. Even though it has been recognized that Latin America and the Caribbean have made great strides in fighting corruption, the Corruption Index for 2017 still shows that the region on a whole continues to score poorly on corruption. St. Vincent and the Grenadines scored 58 for 2017, moving down a 2 percentage point from 60 in 2016. A country's score indicates the perceived level of public sector corruption on a scale of 0 highly corrupt to 100 very clean. This year the index showed that more than 2/3 of countries scored below 50. Depicting a way forward for the Caribbean community, CARICOM, specifically the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, the CSME, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves delivered a lecture here earlier today on a number of important matters relating to the functioning of the integration movement. Held some days before the 29th Intersessional Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM in Haiti. Today's lecture was presented before cabinet members, senior public servants, and a number of trade unions and business leaders. Nikita Tony tells us more in this report.
Some salient issues for resolution in CARICOM. That was the central theme upon which this country's Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, delivered a lecture at the Foreign Affairs Conference Room earlier today, Thursday, February 22nd. The lecture heard the Prime Minister making reference to the 2017 report of the Commission to Review Jamaica's Relations with CARICOM Frameworks, or the Golden Report, named after its chairman and former Prime Minister of Jamaica, Bruce Golding, which critiqued the lack of progress in the implementation of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, noted that several aspects of the 2001 revised treaty in regards to a single market have been put in place. PM Gonsalves noted that a single economy is yet to come to fruition.
In 2001, The juridical framework for a Caribbean single market and economy was formally elaborated in the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas. Although several aspects of the revised treaty in respect of the single market have been put in place, the single economy is yet to be operationalized as envisaged. Only a well-constructed, authoritative executive CARICOM commission will be able to push and manage the CSME as a lived reality. And I do not think, too, that there is a political market for such an executive CARICOM commission.
The Prime Minister pointed out that it is highly unlikely that a single economy can be fashioned in CARICOM at present and in the foreseeable future.
I note that the Golden Report is recommending the elimination of the differentiation between the more developed countries, MDCs, and the less developed countries, LDCs in CARICOM. In this era of debilitating climate change, the vulnerability and lack of resilience to natural disasters of the member countries of the OECS place them in an even more disadvantaged or precarious state than the other CARICOM member states. A single economy is a non-starter unless there is a special carve-out for the OECS member states within CARICOM. Thus far, at least 3 larger CARICOM member states are opposed to such a carve-out.
Dr. Gonsalves further expressed his view on a likely future for integration in the region.
Our Caribbean history teaches that the regional integration enterprise assumes various forms and varied content. We must not be so dogmatic as to ignore realities in our quest for the most appropriate integration mechanisms. CARICOM, in any event, is likely to remain a central political expression of our Caribbean civilization.
Standing as the longest-serving Prime Minister within CARICOM, Prime Minister Dr. Gonsalves is set to join other regional leaders as they hold discussions at the 29th Intersessional Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM, slated for early next week in Haiti. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
Thank you, Nikita. The recent event held to celebrate the first year of operations of the Argyle International Airport was a government event. That was made clear again by General Secretary of the ruling Unity Labour Party, Senator Julian Francis, as he spoke on SAR FM earlier this week, highlighting various issues of concern as well as criticisms leveled against the event. Francis said it was important to celebrate the milestone.
The event that was held at the airport was a government event, but it was organized by the Unity Labour Party government, not the Unity Labour Party as a party. The activists, the strategists, the man who does the work is still the General Secretary of the party, and if an event like that is to be held, then he ought to be the man, and he has the responsibility to put it together. But we have said from day one that this is a government affair. It is a celebration of the rally of the Argyle International Airport, and it is a government event. This is why we had non-politicians also on the platform speaking.
In response to criticisms of persons wearing red at the event, Francis said SVG is a free country and persons can choose what they wish to wear.
But I suppose with all the talk about a political event and everybody going to wear red, well, you can't tell somebody what to wear. If they're having an event and they feel that they want to put on their red shirt that says Labour love, or we not turn back, or just a plain red shirt or red dress or red pants or red shoes, red hat. That's people's choice. You can't have an event and tell people don't wear red. That's we live in a democratic world and a free world where you can choose what you want to wear. I'm not advocating the kind of dress I'm seeing in Carnival in Trinidad. That's a totally different thing. That's gone You know, I brought that in to talk about dress, but at the same time, don't vex with people who put on their red to come to a rally.
A president of the National Women's Council, Beverly Richards, has expressed concern that some women and girls in this country are devaluing themselves for financial and other gains. Speaking at a domestic violence intervention and prevention seminar on Wednesday, held at the Miracle Arena Church in the Stony Grounds area, Richards expressed gratitude to the Caribbean Women's Association for funding the program. The participants gained insight on the importance of women and girls being empowered and were urged to pass on the knowledge gained.
CARIWA is Caribbean Women Association, which is whom the umbrella body for the Caribbean Women Organization. And that's under which organization this St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the National Council of Women, is under. Now this project to deal with the cultural rights to foster behavioral changes and women's empowerment against domestic violence, and this project, as I said, it was done in Barbados and in the Eastern Caribbean. Today we are here to learn how do we intervene and how do we prevent domestic violence. Now this session is more of a awareness session, training awareness.
The Women's Council president told the participants she is troubled by the number of women in the country who are degrading themselves to gain employment and other assistance.
The way things are happening now, there's this guy who told me, he said he did a lady a favor, helping her out with something, and she kept pushing herself on him as though he is supposed to use her, to speak, because he did her a favor. So you understand what I'm saying? So she thinks that it's a normal thing to be asked a question after a favor is being done, and so she put herself in the preparing for that question and to do the act. And he had to tell her, no, 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 that is not, I'm not like that. You understand what I'm saying? So this is something that we have to be mindful of. I believe in the workplace, on the street, sexual assault is being done to every woman that passes the street. And so we have to fight against it.
One of the facilitators of the workshop, Jeannie Oliver, outlined the various initiatives this country has taken to ensure that gender issues are being addressed. Oliver, however, pointed out that much more needs to be done to build on the foundation already built.
Sisters, we have work to do. We cannot afford, as Vincentian women, whether we live here or we live in the diaspora, to close our eyes and our ears to what is happening in our country. We cannot afford to sit quiet. Domestic violence is eating the roots within our homes, within our family structure, and within our society. When 3 young boys could rape a 12-year-old at a school, it is alleged something wrong.
The human rights activists also made a call for the churches to be more impactful in their approach in dealing with social issues such as domestic violence, noting that many women and girls are hurting.
I call on us today, not only from the level of these sides, not only from the level of CARIWA, not only from the level of now in Barbados, and from war. I call on us today as Vincentians to listen, to see, and to let our ears and our eyes point us into action, regardless of which strata of society you're from. And here now, we in a place of worship, and a calling on the churches too to do their part.
Several of the participants at the Domestic Violence Training and Intervention Workshop held on Wednesday expressed their gratitude for the knowledge gained.
Timely workshop to talk about domestic violence, ways of intervention and prevention.
And as a radio announcer, it would help you as well, too.
Absolutely, and as you would have noticed, I just recently launched my campaign project, Say Enough is Enough. So the information that will be shared today, getting more knowledge, it will help to incorporate in my mission for, going forward locally and regionally. Say Enough is Enough. So I am absolutely happy to be here today.
Proud about this domestic abuse workshop. It is very informative. It teaches me a lot about preventing and having intervention, and also help me to help other ladies within my community and region as a whole.
And as a nurse, it would help you as well?
Yes, as a nurse, it will also help me about counseling of my patients. Whenever they come and they have abuse within the relationship, it is very informative.
I'm happy to be at this workshop. It will teach me a lot how to train up my child and other people in my family, to tell them about how to train the child and to react when they are vexed and angry, and to my friends also.
Anything that has to do with women and girls in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I'm happy to be a part. Because here in St. Vincent, I think there are many women hurting out there, emotionally, physically and spiritually. And I think if we as a nation get together, when there's a cry in St. Vincent for help, we don't say, oh, it's not my child, it's not my daughter, it's not my mother, it's not my sister, we get on board, because there's a saying, when your neighbor's house on fire, wet down yours. So this workshop will help me to go out there and speak to beaten, battered women and even girls, because there are many out there who are hurting.
The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union stands strongly against any incident of child abuse. That's the statement coming from the union's General Secretary Paulette Williams as she spoke with SVG-TV News in relation to a video which has been circulating on the social media site Facebook showing a woman physically abusing a young child. The incident reportedly took place on the leeward side of the island. Williams said while she has not seen the video herself, she heard about it and she is disheartened by what she heard, and called on persons who abuse children to seek counseling to better understand the impact their actions can have on the victim.
We would want to recommend that people who do not understand the damage that they do to the victims, those who are on the receiving end of the abuse, they themselves need to be counseled. They need to be educated, because I'm firmly of the view that people who understand, people who are educated, they will act differently. Their attitudes, their behaviors will change. And I think, too, that because we live in a society where we have been taught that in order to resolve or issues sometimes, we have to get physical. That is part of the problem too. So we have to work on improving our conflict management, conflict resolution skills, and there are, several groups that are involved in offering help in those areas.
Highlighting the various institutions such as the National Women's Council who can provide counseling services, Williams said the Teachers Union expects the relevant authorities to take action against those who abuse children.
Church pastors are available also to provide counseling, and in that regard, I think people who find themselves unable to manage their it's sometimes a case of not being able to control the temper, and people get carried away and they resort to abuse, especially when they are in the more powerful position. And so I would want to recommend counseling help for those people. And certainly if the abuse is reported, we would expect the authorities to act expeditiously to, first of all, remove the victim and also to ensure that the perpetrators are prosecuted appropriately.
Speaking on the teachers' union's upcoming election, Williams said she is looking forward to the exercise and is confident in the union's future.
I'm particularly thrilled about, in fact, I just said to the election committee, I think this is going to be your most exciting elections ever. And, you know, they were laughing about it, but I believe it is always good. We have a strong democratic process of electing or executive members that the teachers union can be proud of. In fact, we would recommend it to other unions, and we believe these people have offered themselves to serve. As you know, I'm General Secretary outgoing because I'm not up for re-election. But the individuals who have offered themselves, by and large, as far as the ones that I'm aware of, that I know very well, are individuals who are in a position to certainly carry the vision of the union and represent our membership well. So I have no doubt at all that
members of the SVG Teachers Union will be voting on Tuesday, February 27th and Wednesday, February 28th to elect a new executive to manage the union's affairs for 2018 to 2020. The University of the West Indies Open Campus will hold its annual recognition of graduate ceremony at the Methodist Church Hall tomorrow, Friday, February 23rd from 9 a.m. 37 graduates who have successfully completed their course of study at all 4 campuses of the university will be formally recognized for their academic and professional achievements in various disciplines, including medical sciences, management studies, education, accounting, and natural sciences. Educator and former principal of the St. Vincent Girls High School, Andrea Bowman, will deliver the feature address at the ceremony, while head of the Open Campus, Deborah Dalrymple, will lead the academic procession. This year, Dr. Veronica Simon, head of the Open Campus St. Lucia, will perform official duties on behalf of the Chancellor. This year's valedictorian is Hannah Hamilton, who will be graduating with a first-class bachelor's degree in educational leadership and management.